AIR, an aviation incident reporting system. And this is going to be presented by us. We are known as Team Flight Club. And as such, we can't really talk about Flight Club, but we're going to break some rules today. Okay. I'm your team lead, John Goodgen.
I'm quality assurance lead, Marquise Smith.
I'm documentation lead, Ben Long Elliott. I'm the UI user experience lead, Trent.
I'm the design lead, Patrick Murphy.
And I'm the database lead, Jazz.
Our advisor is Dr. Anvik, and our client is Patrick Debney with the Central Washington Aviation Department. So, what we're going to go over today, we're going to do a project background and overview, basically why we're developing this, what's kind of high-level overview of it. We're going to talk about our process model, the requirements of the project, basically a high-level design. We'll do a nice demonstration for you, talk about potential risks, and end with our strategies. So, why we're developing this? Basically, the purpose is for safety and risk management. Right now with Bowers Field, it's an airport here in Ellensburg, they run about an average of 165 aircraft operations each day. And currently, they have no way to report safety incidents, hazards, things of that nature. Not even a paper-based system. So there's no way to respond to these events or improve their safety levels. So our goal is to basically increase this culture of safety by developing this online non-punitive safety reporting system. This is going to be used primarily by the Central Washington Aviation Department, the students and faculty there, as well as operators at Bowers Field. In a nutshell, the system is going to identify, respond, and correct hazards that are reported. So our process model, we're going to be using your standard agile model, some Scrum practices, specifically that we're going to be using our sprint and product backlogs. So since this is a completely new product for them, we'll basically start out by developing the essential functionality first, and then with succeeding iterations, we'll add on the features that are requested. We'll do sprint reviews and retrospectives, as well as stand-ups at our team meetings, which are going to be done twice a week, as well as client and advisor meetings, which are bi-weekly. So I'm going to turn it over to Jazz to talk about requirements.
All right, so first of all, our system is going to be accessed from a link on the Central Aviation page. From there, that link is going to take the user to a login page where they are going to enter their student or contractor ID number as well as Aviation Department provided password. After a successful login, the users are going to be presented with the incident form where users can enter any information as far as what the incident was and the conditions surrounding that incident. On the administrative side of things, the administrator is going to be able to view all submitted reports and going to be able to update the status of the report to in need of review or already reviewed or not need a review. And periodically there's going to be an event review committee that gets together and views all the reports, and they together will decide if any action is necessary to be taken based on the incidents that have happened. And our system is going to be able to show all of the reports to these event review committee members anonymously. The reason it's anonymous is because the Aviation Department doesn't want to discourage people from submitting reports for fear of disciplinary action. Additionally, the administrator is going to be notified via email immediately after every issue is submitted or incident submitted, as well as the user is going to get a confirmation email so that they know that the issue is successfully submitted. And finally, all incidents will be archived for future reference. On the non-functional requirement side of things, pretty straightforward. Our system obviously needs to be browser independent. Our incident form is kind of our main interface, and that needs to be pretty intuitive and easy to use and have a logical flow as to avoid user frustration. We're going to do our best to maintain consistent aesthetics, same font, same layout, same data input methods. And finally, we want to have a efficient login authentication system so the users aren't needlessly sitting around waiting for them to log in. And now I'm going to turn it over to Trent, who's going to discuss some of our high-level design details.
So we're going to talk about how we're actually making this. So the first thing is server space, because this is a web application. The server space, right now, we're just going to be using the CS department server for development, and then our client's going to be looking to do either through CW or external hosting, preferably so they don't have to deal with bureaucracy. And then we're going to have our web UI that we're going to be building with HTML and JavaScript. And this part is mostly done. You'll see that in the prototype today. And the next thing we're going to have is some PHP scripts that are going to interact with our database. And the PHP scripts are going to perform certain actions that can interact with our MySQL database. And why don't we just go ahead and take a look at the prototype right now?
All right. So this is the first screen that you're brought to when using Air. This is just a standard login screen. Users enter their user ID and password. Currently, this is just a login, or this is just an HTML mockup. None of the functionality is actually implemented yet. All right. This here is the next screen after correctly being authenticated. Users are able to submit information regarding the incident in question. And we used a few libraries like jQuery UI to make this simple for users and hide certain questions that are not necessary to see unless other ones are set. And then the last screen that we have developed so far is the admin screen. After using a very similar login screen, the admin will be able to see a list of the reports that have been submitted. Again, this is fake data. And be able to filter these different data with a long list of filters that we're going to generate using the form, and scroll through this list and pick out the different reports that they want to look at. And then eventually we're going to try to implement a trends page that will show different trends in reports being submitted and different keywords that are noticed in these reports. And back to Trent with some of the other requirements.
Alright, so as you saw in the prototype, everything is pretty straightforward. It's a website, it's a database. So really the challenge for us is going to be a lot of the features to sort of ease the workflow of our client. Things that we're going to implement, features that we are going to be working on are trends of incoming reports. So if there's a lot of incoming reports for a certain aircraft, you're going to be able to see that trend in the graph, and you're going to be able to recognize, oh, maybe we should take a look at this aircraft because it's not landing right every time. Another thing is predictive alerting. It kind of goes along with the same thing. So, you know, if a certain aircraft is having issues and in the trending reports you're seeing that, it's actually going to create an alert at a certain level that the administrator can set. So a certain number of cases, it can actually alert them of the situation. And then job prioritization algorithm is going to be an algorithm that is going to learn based on weighted keywords in the report, and it's going to prioritize the reports in the administrative view. So, for example, if the word accident is listed 3 times in one report, it's probably a huge case, so it's going to go straight to the top. And so the administrator can take care of that right away. The next thing is suggestive categorization. So as we talked about earlier, the categories are like further action required, no further action required, or immediate action required. And right away, we're going to have something set up that will suggest that to the administrator based on all the information that we gathered previous. And we're also going to be having some mobile compatibility. This isn't important to our client right now, but we think this might be good for future just to be able to use it on your phone with ease. And let's go ahead and take a look at the wrist. Oh yeah, the fun part. So like we said, this is a completely new product. So we have like absolutely no reports to go off of, not even paper-based reports. So we're going to be generating a lot of this report data just randomly so we can use it for testing. Now we'll take a look at project risks.
So as with all projects, we do have risks that are part of ours. And so our highest one, the highest likelihood is that we're not going to know how to do certain parts of it. And obviously this would have a big impact on our project. So to mitigate it, we would spend time to do tutorials, read up and learn about it, all that kind of stuff. And our second risk would be insufficient time to implement features because there's going to be quite a few. And this would have another large impact on our project. So we would design a system with minimal dependencies and potentially have to cut out certain features if we just don't have the time to finish them. And then also the third one would be individuals delivering work, and I don't think this would be very likely because all of us want obviously a good grade. But if it did happen, it would have a high impact again because every person's input affects all of our grades. So to mitigate this, we would have meetings about it to reprioritize stuff, potentially establish clear quality assurance levels, which we have, and we'll learn about in a second. And then also, the last one would be team member availability because people get sick and family emergencies happen. And so again, we would divide work up amongst people even more than we already have and potentially reprioritize the requirements. So now with the quality assurance is Marquise.
We're talking about quality assurance or how we go about testing our product. First, we will start with automated functional testing for the web user interface, which we will be making sure that all the elements on the web pages are working or functional, such as buttons, checkboxes, links. Next, we move into the functional database testing, where we will basically make sure that the database is working, can be connected to and interacted with, so we'll insert, delete, and modify reports or accounts. Then we move on to database stress testing, where we will use MySQL SLAP to basically see if the product can handle multiple queries in a short amount of time, as well as a large number of reports submitted. After that, we will move into database security testing to prevent unauthorized database entry. And then lastly, alpha beta testing, which is key in this, because we will, since our product is a completely new system, the requirements will always be changing, and so we will launch alpha and beta tests for our client to try out to get his opinion, feedback on our product, and then back to finish up.
So in conclusion, we're making a brand new system to archive and manage incident and accident reports for the aviation department here at school. This system would be feature driven, and which including things like trends, filtering, and yeah. Any questions? Yes.
Why do you guys choose to use a non-communicative system? Say Bob inspects his airplane before he goes up and notices a problem, takes the airplane up anyway, then writes a report, and then he takes the airplane up again without it being fixed. Wouldn't you want him to be responsible if something happened to that airplane?
Yes.
Client requirement.
That information will be recorded, whoever's submitting the report. We will require names and information to be recorded, but during the review process, we don't want names to be a bias for what action they do decide to take. So if they do need to make action on a plane, then they will have that information to be like, hey, we need to talk to so-and-so about it.
It's the administrator's judgment, because the administrator is informed immediately when something's submitted. So if the issue is a big enough concern that so-and-so shouldn't be flying the plane anymore, and that plane should be grounded, then it's the administrator's judgment to act immediately on that and ground the plane or pilot or whatever.
Does that answer your question?
Yes.
Awesome. Any other questions?